prominent tachometer and the large magnesium shift paddles. The hybrid powertrain has been substantially altered to mimic the conventional 10-speed automatic in the V8, 2, and it starts with the basic building blocks from the GS450H, an Atkinson cycle 3.5-liter V6 connected to the typical Toyota/Lexus hybrid system, with 2 electric motor/generators and a planetary gearset acting as a pseudo-CVT. The V6 was chosen instead of the 438 HP V8 hybrid hardware from the LS600H so that, unlike the LS, the hybridized LC would have a meaningful fuel economy benefit. The LC's hybrid system, however, has a 4-speed automatic transmission appended to the back of it. This allows for more electric assist at lower vehicle speeds, and it enables the system to operate with the engine off at higher speeds of up to 87 miles per hour. But here's how it gets 10 speeds. The original CVT-esque part of the equation jumps among 3 fixed ratios, which are then combined with the first 3 downstream gears from the conventional automatic to create ratios 1 through 9. 10th gear uses the final ratio from the automatic and is the only time the hybrid bits operate as a CVT. Combined power output is 354 horsepower, an increase of 16 compared with the GS450H, although 9 horsepower of that comes from revisions to the V6. For a deeper look at the hybrid system, head here. View 107 photos. Oral fixation. In addition to the steering, Lexus nailed the booming V8 sound. Powered by the same 5.0-liter V8 that's in the GSF and the RCF, the LC500S is up a few horsepower, to 471. With the help of a tube running between the intake manifold and the firewall plus flaps in the exhaust but no electronically produced noise, the cabin is positively filled with nigh-on-perfect V8 frequencies. The sound swells appropriately with engine speed but isn't overbearingly loud. The march toward turbocharging has made achieving memorable sound more difficult, which makes the LC500's naturally aspirated roar even more of a standout. Playing this V8 opus is a rapid-fire new Eisen 10-speed automatic. It's not as quick-shifting as a dual-clutch gearbox, and we also experienced a few low-speed shift bobbles, but gear swaps are about as swift as they come for conventional automatics, and upshifts are punctuated with a satisfying pop from the exhaust. Paddle-requested downshifts, too, are exceptionally swift. Unfortunately, sound is where the hybrid loses the plot line. Unlike the V8, it does employ electronic enhancement, and its artificial moaning is further amplified in Sport S and mode. It's also down 117 horsepower compared with the V8. Does anyone looking to spend roughly $100,000 on a 2-door fashion statement care about the LC500H's potential 50% fuel economy benefit if it means sacrificing the V8's sound and performance? Lexus claims that the transmission arrangement makes the hybrid only a few tenths of a second slower to 60 miles per hour, but at higher speeds, the performance gap felt considerably wider. Plus, the hybrid pseudo 10-speed slurs its shifts, which aren't nearly as satisfying as those of the V8's automatic. An EV-only range, as is typical for Toyota and Lexus hybrids, is still minuscule, with the slightest prod of the throttle often causing the engine to fire up. View 107 photos. So where does the LC fit in? There's not that much dimensional variety in the luxury coupe world. After all, the wheelbase in the Mercedes-Benz S-Class coupe is just 4.1 inches longer than that of the 2 sizes smaller C-Class coupe. At 113.0 inches, the Lexus LC's wheelbase roughly splits those of the Benz S. However, its overall length is much closer to that of the C-Class and more than 10 inches shorter than the S, which helps to explain the LC's paltry trunk space. At 5 cubic feet, it's half that of the big Mercedes. And Lexus says that backseat space is not a concern for potential customers. The design certainly isn't as classically beautiful as that of the S-Class coupe, but the aggressively creased design language that seems hopelessly overdone on the Lexus RX crossover works here, thanks in no small part to the coupe's excellent proportions. The interior design is adventurous, with flowing sweeps over the door panels and through the center console. The base seats are heavily bolstered, and the optional micro-suede trimmed upgrade versions are even more so. But we wonder if both seats might fit a little too tightly for luxury coupe clientele, and they have surprisingly few adjustments, no bolster or thigh control adjustment and only two-way lumbar. The LC is a more dynamic Grand Touring alternative to the S-Class or 6 Series coupes, but it's not nearly as dynamically fabulous as a Porsche 911 and it's roughly 1,000 pounds heavier. Lexus says it expects to sell roughly 4,800 LC cars annually in the US, of which only 20% will be the hybrid, once the car reaches dealers next spring. That estimate may be high, which is good, because then the LCS you'll see at your local Cars and Coffee almost certainly will pack the V8.